Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 22 of the NFP podcast presented by 3D Entertainment. The NFP podcast is brought to you by Sneaky Weasel Lager and Hey Y'all Southern Iced Teas, the official alcohol sponsor of the show. As well, our official clothing sponsor, Wrangler. Long live Cowboys. What's up, everybody? We're back for another big week. A lot of action on the weekend with the bull ridings and the rodeo and the UFC and interesting shit going on everywhere in the world. First of all, though, let's introduce the boys. Jason Davidson first. How you doing?
Not bad, LT. Not bad. Way better today than I was yesterday, I'll tell you.
What was yesterday?
I'll bite. I'll bite.
Lost my phone for 8 hours. It had COVID.
Oh,
it was in the hospital. 8 hours without my. Yeah, it was kind of shitty. It was kind of no.
Okay.
I'm not gonna even say
it was kind of okay.
No, because I couldn't relax.
Right.
Yeah, it's an awful thing when we rely on that little black.
It fucking does that to you now too. Like when it dies during the day or something, and you're out doing something, and you're just like thinking the whole time somebody's trying to get a hold of me. There's something on the go. It fucks with you, full fledged.
I kind of think of it as a surprise. Like, you know, at the end of the day, you turn it on or get power to it, and it's like ding, 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 and then you're like, well, lots of people want to get a hold of me. Too bad.
42 text messages I had when I finally got her back.
Wow.
42. I could keep up on emails, but
you didn't want to go to an iPhone?
No.
Exactly. Thanks, my Samsung brother.
Why? What's the point? Why don't you guys like iPhones?
When I retire and want a toy?
Because I got an iPhone here late last fall, and the guy was telling me, don't go to an iPhone, don't go to an iPhone. And I'm like, yeah, Dylan wanted me to, so I'm gonna. That sucker every night would it would download new updates, but it would get rid of all my texts. Like Aaron Roy's clothing order for the endorsees, I had to text him 5 separate times because it kept losing all my conversations. So I was like, fuck that, I'm going back to the Samsung. So,
that's got to be something in your
I had an iPhone, but Tanner, I tried it out. Like back before we had good I used to have 2 phones. I had a US number and a Canadian number. So when I was in the US, I got an iPhone. I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a try. And I didn't like it at all. I didn't like how to maneuver around on it. You know, I was a BlackBerry guy forever. And I would have had a BlackBerry if I could have got the same phone 4 years ago when I upgraded to a Samsung, but it's basically the same. What I miss about the BlackBerry, honestly, is the keyboard, and it manipulates how you talk. It would, if it gets to know your language and the way you speak,
right now. It's like, what the fuck?
There's no
is
secret,
a BlackBerry?
Yeah, you've heard of blueberries, but not black ones, eh?
The only thing before a BlackBerry was a fucking walkie-talkie.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I had a couple flip phones.
Yep.
What about the Nokia?
Yeah.
Tanner don't even know what that is.
No, my first one was a Samsung
you know
chocolate.
What? Robert
chocolate had a little slide on it. Like it was.
Was
cool.
it?
You in high school?
I remember the Nokias.
Yeah.
There, I think there was 2 games on them, and it was either Bowers or Bell. I'm not sure which one of the Robert it was, but they had the record on Snake. You just keep winding around, and that's how you entertained yourself going down the road.
Yeah.
But we didn't even keep our phones on. You'd have them shut off, and then if you needed them, you turned them on. Shit, the battery'd last you a week because for the most part, you couldn't phone anybody because nobody had one. Not everybody had a phone even.
Yeah.
But,
times have changed.
So anyway, that was my day.
Sorry, Scott.
Dealing with that.
We kind of went off the rails there on you, but Scott Burns here as well. How you doing, Scott?
Good, guys. How are you? No, good. Yeah, it's just busy day, man. Hitting the road, going to sell some clothes. So trying to get everything in order before I go. So
are you taking the trailer or just the Van Bergini?
No, the trailer. Yeah, the
trailer's going.
Yeah. It's just easier with the amount of clothes.
Yeah.
Well, definitely not fucking cinch.
I didn't get to finish. I was going to say,
Let's see, hold on. What's that sign behind you? What's that sign behind you?
You know what, Tanner? On a more serious note, I apologize for cussing out there.
I love it.
Yeah, you know what? Things are going okay. But now I know every episode we talk about this, but now we've got these restrictions creeping in again. And so we'll just see how this summer plays out. I don't know. I'm never too excited to predict awesome year because you don't know. So, I don't know. Right now it's going okay.
Yeah, that's good.
What?
I was fucking, boys, speaking of restrictions, you guys are going to love this. Me and Logan Kodlik were hired up to fight bulls at the Bengoff High School rodeo this weekend. We were going to go for Craig Stevens. And it got fucking canceled, man. Got canceled.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. About the first time I've been looking forward to a high school rodeo in a long time. I was like, shit, it'd be good to go step around a few and, hang with Craig and the crew and Caddy. And I got the call yesterday that got canceled again. So ups and downs. Fuck.
I think Bengoff and Weyburn High School Rodeo got canceled, whether Weyburn's the next week or whatever. But that's what we're having a big board meeting tonight for the Manitoba High School Road Association. And I'm fairly confident they're going to scrap their spring rodeos here already. So here we go again, fucking 2 years later or year and a half later. So
still rolling. Yeah. I was fencing as well. A fucking hardworking man. Damn, I'll tell you what, putting up a couple miles of fence. Hands are just cut to shit. I'm obviously not the best at it. Forgot my gloves. No, it's good though.
How many ticks have you pulled off your body?
None, dude. None. I don't know what's going on.
Somebody's saying that. Yeah, somebody said they're supposed to be bad, eh?
Yeah, though they normally are. You guys got them real bad? Yeah, they're normally fucking super bad around here, and I haven't seen hardly any yet. Knock on wood, but they're probably coming.
Yeah, we pulled.
What is it? Is it the dry weather that brings them out when it's dry springs, or what?
I have no idea.
I think a couple things. Our spring has actually been very long. Like we haven't had any snow since beginning of April, really, and I think it's had some warm weather and stuff. But I pulled one off. Whoa.
Oh, you pulled one off your pecker just now. Look at Scott. What kind of a trapeze you got going there?
How they do that?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I don't even know how to fix that.
I knew you were talented, but wow.
Oh, man, guys.
That's next level. That's next level right there.
Let's see if this will work.
Our audience is going to have to turn into YouTube.
There we go. There we go.
Holy smokes.
Sorry, fellas. Anyway, I pulled one off the dog, probably the size of a kidney bean today. So,
yeah, those are gross.
Yeah, they're definitely out.
Yeah, once they suck in that.
And then what'd you do with it? Did you shoot it with a 22?
I burnt it. Burnt it with a lighter.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys see the UFC fight on the weekend?
Just the crowd.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, me too.
Did you see the fucking guy snap his leg?
Anymore.
See the guy break his leg?
Yeah, I did see that. Actually.
Oh my!
And I think that's happened to him. Either to the guy that did it, he's the second time that's happened to him, or the guy he kicked has done that to two guys. I can't remember what I read or saw.
Wow.
Stat, but
it was the first fight. I think that was like right at the start. I just seen the highlight of it obviously on the internet, but I think that was like the first kick of the fight. They said it was the first win in UFC history where a punch wasn't thrown, but holy fuck was that gross.
Oh wow. Did you see when he threw the kick, he obviously didn't realize the leg had been broke, and then he went to step on it when he came back and there was nothing there and he just collapsed. But you could tell by the expression on his face, he didn't realize that his leg was broke until, it was when he couldn't use it,
Yep. Oh, that's filthy.
I seen Dana White. He made a statement afterwards, and he just, he basically said, you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Let's just live life. And basically he loves Florida. So,
it
was all good.
She was packed house, eh? They had her sold out.
See that. that crowd.
Yeah.
Really
San
good to see.
Angelo on the weekend. I watched the Cinch shootout there. It was packed too. Right full.
Mm-hmm.
Right full. Clovis, on the other hand, had crowd. I don't know if it just didn't look to be packed, and I don't know if that was by design because they could only have a percentage of audience or what. But I watched a little bit of both of those. But San Angelo was jammed in there. Looked good.
Yeah,
Good.
that was good.
I think Zeke Thurston did some good. I've seen some posts on the internet that he was kicking ass 88 at the one and plucking away at a few. So that's good to see us, our Canadian boys, ripping it up on the rodeo side.
I think Dawson Dawson won Clovis.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was good. Stetson, my boy Stetson, had a good weekend. Won the bronc riding at the shootout. Was third in the bull riding at the shootout, and then won second in the bull riding in Clovis. So not
good?
one of my right boys got in the money, and Clovis in the bronc riding. So, disappointed.
It's okay. It's not bad.
Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'd say he had a $20,000 weekend, so not bad.
I can write.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same.
Oh lordy, do I? Instead, we just drank Sneaky Weasel lagers. Well, I did. You guys probably didn't.
Yeah, you do.
If you're looking for a smooth, refreshing beer this weekend, grab yourself a Sneaky Weasel Craft Lager. This mildly hopped craft lager delivers a bold 5.6 ABV, but goes down crisp and clean. This beer pairs well with any bull riding celebration, fun in the sun, and good times with friends. This beer is available all across Western Canada. Sneaky Weasel Lager, the official beer sponsor of the NFP podcast. Yes, so did some fencing.
Fun with friends. Let's get after it. Let's get after it.
Yeah,
you're out of Sneaky Weasels.
Well, from the weekend. Yeah,
Did you say?
I'll go get some more on. Did you guys see the recent news in the Western lifestyle world that was released? The article on Facebook about the new ownership of Kessler Rodeo, and then the backlash on top of that of the other stuff shared. Do you guys happen to see all that stuff on Facebook?
Did see a little bit of that.
Yes, yep. I did too. Yeah,
I did. I did.
So,
I didn't comment. I just didn't. But yeah,
still shy to talk about it. I'll fucking talk about it. Here's what I think. When we had Chase Kessler on the show, on one of our very first shows, I was trying to get that stuff out of Chase because those rumors and stuff were rumbling around the rodeo world of different things that were going on, and Chase obviously couldn't touch on it due to whatever was going on. But you see an article come out now talking about however it's owned now, Dwayne Kessler is no part of it. Correct? Is that what you guys read on that?
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a big article about how it's, Kessler Rodeo now is this new thing, and they got these different people running it and taking care of the different breeding programs and all this different stuff that's going on. And then in the background of it, there's people on Facebook commenting, where's Dwayne? What's going on with that side of the family? And then Gordon Kessler would be an uncle of some sort, puts out a post that kind of tells it how it actually is of what's going on, that Dwayne and them, that there's some shit going on, that there's some stuff going on within the family, that Dwayne's not a part of it. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy to just see that number of generations in their whole industry, their whole breeding program, all that shit just come down to, I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Crazy to see.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's almost like something you'd see on TV, right? That much of a saga behind it. And it's hard to say where it's going to play out. I think Dwayne's found himself a new venture. I can't confirm any names or whatever, but I think he's still playing in the sandbox, but just under a different umbrella, we'll say. So Good for him. I truly did feel bad when all that went down. However it went down, Dwayne Kessler put his heart and soul into that whole outfit, his whole damn life, and whether it was right or it was wrong to get it jerked out from underneath him, I wish him all the best, and I hope he carries on and kicks some ass doing it. So,
I was
just my opinion.
I read that article and Uncle Gordon had mentioned on how much work Dwayne had put into that place, and often sometimes days without seeing a bed. I remember working with those guys, and we were trucking stock over the 4th of July from Livingston to Butte, Montana, or Helena. I can't remember. And we went back. Well, at least I could sleep in the passenger seat, but he couldn't, and he wouldn't let me drive. But I remember we got home after a full night, and then the next day, I remember Dwayne crawling into the main house in Helena, and like literally got his boots off and kind of crawled in and went to sleep in the hallway. That's where he stayed. He slept right in the hallway after us trucking, for 20 some hours straight.
Well, when they used to haul,
they work, I'll tell you.
Yeah, when they used to haul stock to Cloverdale, he would whip a load over the rocks, unload, turn around, load another load, and another load over the rocks. Like, you're right, that guy went day and night. He give double clutching and toggle switching a whole new definition.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that all kind of plays out. But you've seen guys like Josh Barize sharing that stuff and saying, here's the real story, when Gordon shared that, because we kind of got the churched up version of what was going on, that everything's fucking rainbows and roses, and then you get that other one from Gordon where it's kind of like, no, there's some shit going on here that fucking isn't right. So it goes both ways, I guess, whichever way that everybody has their own opinions. Everybody can look at it different sides, but it's definitely noteworthy to kind of follow on that and see what goes on with that, because that's fucking generations and generations of history that hopefully will keep going and they can get that all worked out. But yeah, it's kind of interesting news there. So hopefully, wishing the best to everybody in that situation where, like, I wouldn't want to I've seen guys' names on there that were now working for Kessler Rodeo, right? And I don't know, like with Gray or with Dwayne, like it's kind of double crossing in a sense of like, why? How could you try to take over my shit? And I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts in that equation that hope they get it all worked out and everybody does it the right way instead of cutthroat and crossing over each other, because it could be a fucking mess.
Yeah, could get nasty. That's for sure.
We shall see. But the PBR was in Nampa, Idaho this weekend, and there was some big news. Kaique Pacheco takes the win once again. He's having a lights out year. Cooper Davis was back, didn't have the weekend that he would have wanted, but yeah, Brazilian dominance once again in Nampa, Idaho.
Yeah, dominance, big
Kaique,
time.
He can't ride for shit, that guy.
Top six. Then Cole Baba sneaks in 7th, and then I think it was a couple more Brazilians finishing out the top 10.
Yeah, they were dominant. Did you see that? So Kaique rode Chiseled, which he rode the week before for 94 points. Chiseled is runner-up world champion bull. We talk about him all the time on here, but they switched deliveries on him. They put him out of a left last weekend.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And if you know that bull, he falls out of there spinning to the right every single time that he's out. And I'm sure his dummy trips, everything, like, he's just automatic right in the door of the right, blowing and spinning. So I don't know, maybe HD Page didn't like him getting rode a bunch of times in a row and tried to switch it up, or what happened, or why they decided to put him out of a left. I seen a quote that he had to Justin Falesko that he thought that he would still go to the right, even though he was out of a left. But he just fucking came out backwards and did the same thing that he normally does. But I don't know what the fuck the thinking was behind that. But
as a contractor, Tanner, and the bucker of lots of bulls, that's a big choice.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like you say, that bull came out backwards. Not only could have things went south right there, but why would you want to mess with something that isn't broke, right? That's my theory, but then I don't own the bull either. But wow, it was,
Yeah, they marked him a 45, so he was a 90 instead of a 94 like he was the weekends before. So his bull score was lower doing that. So, and he's in the world title race. I don't know. Maybe he was just getting, I don't know what his mindset was behind that. Maybe change it up and see if he does something better, has a big high yaw out of there. And it's not like in the PBR, you can't just switch a delivery on a bull because of somebody that draws them. So there was a lot of people thinking that they switched that bull because Kaique picked him again, and Kaique rides right-handed. So maybe HD was trying to pull a fast one and put him out of a left to see if he did something different to buck Kaique off. But the deliveries of the bulls have to be set before the weekend starts. So that was in the works before the bull riding even started that weekend. It didn't matter who had him. That bull was going to be out of the left in the short round. So there was no foul play on that one. I think it was just maybe a test, see what it was like when you're HD Page and you got that many good fucking bulls. He's like, fuck it, let's give it a go. Fuck it.
So rolling the dice again. Would you say he's going back to a right?
I think. Well, he came out. Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe try. He always puts his head down too in the buck and shoots when you watch that bull. Guys have a hard time getting out on him sometimes because he puts his head down and he leans on the gate. And maybe that's why they switched him up to try to get him to stop leaning on that gate. But for me, I knew that was going to go bad because he was going to be leaning on that side where as soon as the gate popped, he was just going to pick his head up and come out backwards. Then they put him on the clock. So he didn't even have a chance to try to get that bull's head up because he's on the clock. So he has to nod. So he nods with him with his head down on that inside. It was just, disaster waiting to happen. But it worked out.
Sheep Creek, you remember that bull?
Yeah. Same thing. Lean on that gate like that. Yeah.
That is the only bull I've ever seen in my 23 career fighting bulls where they put a post on the inside of the chute into the arena.
Yeah, on the gate. There'd be a guy on the fucking
he was
latch.
a dick.
Yeah.
That bull was a dick.
And it's a good thing he wasn't fucking mean.
Oh, he was fucking mean.
Oh my God.
Yeah, him and Seven Dust, both bulls from Tyler Thompson raised both them, and they were both hot. Come and get
you. Man. I actually, as a bullfighter, you stand out in front of so many and everything's just repetition sometimes. The first time I forget who it was, even crawled over and put that post down, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like,
hang on tight, don't fall off in there.
Jesus, like Kelly Armstrong used to say, there's 99 things that can go wrong here and one that can go right.
No
shit.
Definitely.
Anyway, it worked.
Yeah, Cody Nance is kind of on a hot streak right now. He did good at a couple touring pros there, got back on tour, and I think he was 87 again this weekend. So pretty cool to see the old boy work his way back on tour after getting cut and getting himself back in the mix of things again.
I've seen his name at some rodeos too.
Yep. Yeah, going at her. Yeah. Leme was obviously through the roof again. Jose Vitor Leme bucked off in the long round the second day, comes back, picks a bullet, hasn't been rode in 26 outs by the name of the right stuff, and sticks it on him for, I think he was 89 or something, but made a hell of a ride on a bull that nobody gets by.
Sure. That guy's unreal handy. I can't, when you watch that guy ride, it's just like, but that shouldn't be happening that easy. Yeah. It's pretty cool to watch, actually.
Well, yeah, he's going to be, he'll go down. I don't know how you get much better, and a bull's away from his hand into his hand. Jess Lockwood, I talked about him on the last podcast, how many world championships he could win. And it'd be so cool which is part of the sport of bull riding, but to see all these guys right now that are so good, so dialed in to all be healthy at once and just see that race, because injuries play into things so much. And there's some good bull riders that are going right now riding.
You're right. If you could get all the top guys lined up and keep them healthy, that's what makes PBR the PBR.
Yeah.
Well, plus he's going to break a fucking toe kicking his helmet one of these days too. Jesus, Murphy.
Well, he must have some steel toes on there because that actually hurts watching.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, fuck. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, it's gotta hurt.
Yeah, definitely. And then touring pro news, Wichita was on this weekend. Michael Lane.
Yeah, old Monster Energy Tour winner up in Canada, Michael Lane. That was good to see.
Damn right. Yeah. Michael's a good guy. He's been around since I was going. Me and him and Gage Gay got to spend quite a bit of time together. So Michael's one of those guys that's always kind of like a Lachlan Richardson, just always fucking killed it at velocities, monsters, touring pros. Whether it's the difference of the lights or what happens, he'll ride Michael and Lockie were kind of the same guys. They'd get on those same bulls at a BFT or Unleash the Beast and a touring pro. They'd ride them fucking 10 times at the touring pro event, and then might have held them at a BFT or whatever it is. But Michael's made a full career off of touring pros and winning velocities. And kicking ass. And just one of the nicest freaking guys.
Yeah, he is. Super new dad too. I think they just had a little girl maybe a year ago or so.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed having him up here.
Good guy. I'm sure he'll be back once everything gets opened up a little bit more and we can get rolling. He's one of those guys you can always count on to be at every event, as well as Logan Beaver.
Hey,
there he
Canada,
goes.
yeah.
Another
Number
top 10
on
finish.
the weekend.
Yeah, moved him to 49th, I think, in the world. So plucking away.
Creeping in there.
Yeah,
Yep, creeping in there.
Usually the big thing with that winter run is even if you don't get you don't get on tour in this first little bit, when you get a good enough start like that, and you're ahead of the pace or ahead of guys that haven't really been going yet, by middle of the year, you got that much of a head start on a lot of guys that haven't been rolling. Even just guys that maybe didn't have a good winter, you got a good, same as like trying to make the NFR, right? Maybe you're not where you want to be at that point, but you've got yourself into a position where midway through the year, when there gets to be a lot of events, you have that head start on everybody that is now going and riding hot, and he's going to have a really good chance to get on tour and make his first World Finals this year.
Well, and another thing is he'll come back on a normal year. He'd come back to Canada and compete on the Cup Series here, and with all that confidence of being around those really good bulls down there. And I've seen that before when the guy come back up here, like Aaron, and you collect those points. Pawsey did it too. Come up here and collect all those points. Well, shit, Pawsey made the World Finals. And how many events that his last year? And was it 16? Yeah. Right? How many events did he? Yeah, UTB events did he go to down there? Not very many.
No,
he
like
made
2.
that.
Yeah,
he made it all in Canada here. So, I'm gonna get behind Logan. I bet we see him in Las Vegas here in the fall for sure.
The other boys, Jake Gardner got thrown off. Tyler Craig, Ashton Sully, Tanner Eno, Wyatt Gleason, all the boys are down there. So I can't remember the stat, but it was like 6 to 10 Canadian guys down there at either the Touring Pro in Arizona or in Wichita at the Velocity event. So good to see the boys roll and good to see them on the trail, and they got the support of the NFP podcast. That's for sure. So good work, fellas. Keep on keeping on.
That's right.
We're good. So quick ad read. We got Bonner Bolton coming on today.
This is a good Manscaped segue right here for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
Bonner Bolton. So but we can talk about him before I go into the ad read, and then we'll just go right to the interview once we're done that. But Bonner is stand-up guy, World Finals bull rider, moved into the modeling gig, was on Dancing with the Stars, kind of a full-fledged celebrity nowadays.
Oh yeah, just good word. Good word, Tanner. LT. I was just gonna throw that out there. He's kind of a freaking celebrity.
Great minds think alike.
Yes, we do.
So it's very cool to he's a busy guy, busy schedule, working through different stuff. So it's good to get him an hour of his time, and it's it's fun to hear from a guy that rode bulls and then now has transitioned over into that kind of that Hollywood, that modeling style of a life that is totally foreign to really the Western lifestyle, the rodeo people. He's kind of groundbreaking in that sense, and a lot of people don't agree with it. A lot of people agree with it, but Bonner really doesn't give a fuck. He just bees himself and goes on.
I bet she agrees with the paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as we'll hear, his roots haven't left the Western lifestyle whatsoever, and I like he's got some stuff on the go, and he's trying to give back and stay in the bull riding business in a different way. It's pretty interesting stuff. So good for him. He could have just walked away and got caught up in the New York or Hollywood lifestyle and never, you never hear from him again, but that's just not his character.
Yeah. Gets back to the cowboy roots. So yes, that'll be good to hear from him. But first, hey, you. Yes, you got Bush. You definitely do if you haven't tried the best products from our sponsor today, Manscaped. After using these life-changing products, you're going to want to join a ball sack beauty contest. I'm looking out for you too, because I also have an exclusive 20% off discount. Use the code NFP20 at manscaped.com. That's NFP20 capitalized at manscaped.com. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the Essential Lawn Mower, 3.0 waterproof cordless body trimmer, and a ton of other liquid formulations to go around of your grooming routine.
Are you making these up yourself? Or do you actually get
Yeah.
Come on.
We should start the NFP ad agency.
That's right. Yeah.
God.
So hold on, I'm gonna give it a plug too.
I like it.
Sut's got the nose. What's the weed whacker?
Yeah, the weed whacker. Yeah.
Yeah, Sut's come out today after school. Dad, had my first shave. I'm like, what? And he got the weed whacker going and trimmed the 6 hairs he had in his nose and his stash.
Oh, that's
years old.
I just got another package in the mail from there.
Yeah.
Me too.
We got to keep that.
I haven't got the Wrangler, and
sorry,
I haven't got the
sorry.
Sneaky Weasel, and I haven't got the NFP cap yet. I just don't know. I'll text you guys my address again after this one. But if I look back the last 6 texts, I'm sure you'll have one there from me. But whatever, I know where I stand.
Don't hold your breath. You might turn blue, buddy. Don't hold your breath.
COVID. It's COVID. Fucking COVID. Fuck. What are you gonna do? Okay, this is the best trimmer to help you trim up the hedges. This trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, thanks to advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. And that is the Lawnmower 3.0. And stay in the loop, stay involved, because there's some big news coming from Manscaped in the next couple of weeks of some new product that we're looking forward to. So when you trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Don't forget that, boys. You trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Don't fucking forget it.
It's a fact.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code NFP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code NFP20. It's 2021 and you still got a bush? Change that with Manscaped.
God.
Also, boys, before we go to Bonner, new merch, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this hoodie.
Nice. I like it.
Like that. So we got some t-shirts, we got some hoodies. Check us out on 3dbullriding.com. Correct, Jason?
We're going with it?
3dbullriding.com.
Yeah, why wouldn't we go there? Let's give it a go.
It'll be on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow along with the NFP page or any of one of us, Scott Byrne, Tanner Byrne, or your Jason Davidson, 3D Bull Riding on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. We'll have all the links for people to go buy some more merch. And if you want hats, once again, you can reach out to me, Tanner Byrne, on Instagram. We'll get those lined up. But yeah, these we just got these. We approved them. The logo, the style, the feel of the hoodies, the material, it's fucking badass. So can't wait to see everybody rocking these on a daily basis. And
I'm still waiting. I can't wait either.
Hey, these ones are brand new, bro. These ones are
Jason
fresh.
Jason.
Yeah.
I actually got mine yesterday.
Bullshit.
No,
I didn't.
Oh yeah. I get it. Family first. Yeah, that's all right. No worries.
We'll get us lined up by our next pod. Hopefully, we can all have our NFP gear on here, and people can check out what it looks like. So, without further ado, we'll pass it on to our interview with Bonner. Our guest today has been at the PBR World Finals, won himself a world championship in the CBR. You may know him as a fashion model, or you might have seen him on Dancing with the Stars. Our friend, Mr. Bonner Bolton. Bonner, how you doing today?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
You too, brother. How's things? Where you at right now in life? Are you back home or where you at?
Back home here in Texas. Just got done at the gym here, a little place I go to out on a ranch, kind of close to Stephenville and southwest of Fort Worth a little bit.
Beauty. Okay, well, before we get into what you're up to now and the rank ride stuff that we're going to get into, can you take us back to the early days? Your dad was a bull rider, obviously runs in the family, but give us a little background on your family. You guys are pretty legendary down there.
Yeah, man. Number one, thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it. It's been a while since me and you got to chop it up, and we've been good buds for a long time. First, I just want to say, like, man, Tanner is one of my best Canadian buds, and we've had some good times together. And this is an honor to be on your show today, man. It's awesome to see what you're doing and helping progress the sport. You know, especially up there in Canada, you guys are killing it. I know COVID's been a shitty time for everybody, and y'all been trying to do what you can and keep up with it. Number one, how is it going up there? Like, what is going on? What is going on? Where's
not
Jason? You can take this one.
not a great question for this group. We
need to come up there and fucking
yeah. I'm watching
the door down.
I watched Stetson Wright compete in Clovis and San Angelo this weekend on the Cowboy Channel, and it's no masks, sold out crowds. We can't even get 10%. We can't do anything in a building here. Nothing.
Yes,
we have to be in a bubble. You know how the PBR did it in Georgia last year, and then the Team Challenge in Las Vegas. That's how we have to operate still. We're actually in the worst place we've been with COVID since it got here 13 months ago. So
are they allowing events to happen still though?
No, fuck no. There's nothing. We're not allowed out of our houses. We're not allowed.
Shit.
Our families. You're only allowed in Saskatchewan right now. You're only allowed within your family in one household. You can't have your neighbors around you or other families or nothing, dude. It's fucking.
And
wild.
do they have? I mean, are they like giving out tickets, like bad fines for that if you break the rules or what? Like,
if you stand there long enough and let them write you out one, they will.
Yeah,
and even if they do, I'll be fucked if I'm going to pay one. So,
like, who are these? Do these cocksuckers get paid a lot of money to enforce this shit? I mean, do they not have family and friends that hate this shit too? You know, like,
there's no rhyme or reason to it. Nothing at all. It's just, we sit here and we try and figure out what the fuck they're trying to do, and it makes no sense. And yes, our police forces that are government paid are getting paid to walk around and write little tickets out for people that are fucking up just trying to live, right? And that's the frustrating part. And we've just come to I don't know, there's something's going to break here pretty soon because
I think it was grade 8. I think it was grade 8 social studies. We learned about communism. It's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. You start to see that shadow falling everywhere, it seems, around the world. And it's, we're living in a really weird time. I just ask because, I know things are definitely polar opposite down here in Texas right now. And thank God for our governor, man. I mean, I think he sort of waited it out and went by the book for everybody else's sake at the beginning, just to see where, his own real thoughts about it. And then, heard the voice of the people, and he is a man of the people, and stepped in there and said enough of that bullshit, and just, but it's crazy. I know it's just a lot different up there, and y'all don't have the same, system up there. And
we're
it's
really
so
nice
so
people. We're
fucked up,
Canadians, so we're just like, oh, okay.
Our prime minister, unfortunately, isn't for the people. He is for communism, and this is what he's just
totally. Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, I'm sure we got to be a little bit careful what we say on here, even. But
no. We say what we want. Yeah,
there's no
all
holds
right.
barred.
Well, fuck that motherfucker. All right. If I was up there with you, I would fuck him up for you. All right.
That's good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got brothers down here in Texas that care. That's all. And I grew up on a ranch in West Texas that started back in 1903, and my family have been cattle ranchers since the start. They kind of all moved out from the Austin area when the first settlers came to Texas, and that's where the Texas Rangers came from. Came out and covered wagons to West Texas a long time ago, and I grew up on a real cattle ranch, and my dad was a farmer on a dirt poor farm in New Mexico that always wanted to be a real ranch cowboy, and his closest way into that was he had an uncle that rode bulls, and he wasn't much to brag about, but he had some old gear that he gave my dad when he was about 12 years old, an old rope and glove and a set of spurs. I think that's about it. In his first bull, he's got a picture of it, and he's on this big ass white Bramer with big old horns, and he's like 12 years old, and getting on some big ass shit for his first time. But that's how they did it back then. And, I watched my dad ride until I was about 4 years old. He quit around that time, and he had just won the George Paul Memorial down in Del Rio, Texas. And to see that at that age, it really made a huge impact on me. I grew up watching this video that they created about that specific event that year. In fact, I'm sure you've seen it, haven't you, Tanner? The George Paul tape? Yeah. And in fact, we just posted that on Rank Ride. If for anybody that's watching that wants to check that out, it's still, not just because my dad won that year, but it's that tape, watching all those legends, and my dad being, the winner. Obviously, my dad's always been my hero, but fuck, man, that tape is just so gold.
Bonner, talking about George Paul, I want to know, and majority of viewers will understand, what a buckle means to a bull rider, to a rodeo cowboy. But what do you think? How much time do you think you spent as a young boy staring at that buckle and what it meant to you?
Oh man, I was a very visual person, so I was always going through pictures and videos. And I mean, I wore my dad's tape out, like it didn't play anymore by the time it was over. And but I'd be on the arm of the couch or riding a suitcase with a handle on it, in the living room, just bucking around to those videos, just wanting to be one of them, and I didn't start riding until I was about 10 years old. My dad never let me get on till I was big enough, and I guess really I'll back it up. I started getting on a few steers and whatnot, like around 8 years old. I got on some calves and some steers, and I'd get on a calf in the Brandon pen when they'd let me, and just ride him up off the fire. But that's how it started for me. And then when I got about 10 or 11, I started really going to a lot of junior bull ridings and sticking my hand in and nodding. And that's where I cut my teeth. I grew up going to a little bar bull riding called Dos Amigos in Odessa, Texas. And that was a real stomping grounds for bad company. They would bring a lot of bulls, and all the outlaw bull riders and contractors from all over Texas would come to that thing every Sunday.
Yeah, the outlaw. And,
fuck yeah.
Come Sunday and leave Tuesday.
That place was rowdy, boy. Let me tell you, there was a lot of partying went down there.
Fuck yeah.
And that's where Bad Company and Mac Altizer really got their name, was from specifically, and a lot of what PBR became and stemmed from, and what standalone bull ridings and big open bull ridings, Mac Altizer had such an impact on what that would look like in the future. Yeah. And it went from brass band to at the rodeo and, singing all the old classics to
rock and roll, motherfucker.
Rock and roll and rap, and lots of neon colors and a good time.
Yeah. Is that where you met? Bingham before Bingham was who he is obviously now? But I know you guys go way back, and he was on our podcast not long ago. Talked about
was he?
Yeah, talked about all
man.
That same shit that you're kind of talking about. So is that where you guys started running into each other?
Yeah, actually, well, he grew up just north of Odessa for, I'd say, like 4 or 5 years of his life, and his dad and my dad and his uncle all knew each other because they grew up in New Mexico together, rodeoed out there together. And my dad and his uncle were real good buddies in high school and traveled together, did everything. And they ended up moving to Odessa, just kind of out there by the ranch where we live in Gardendale. And my dad built some fence for his dad and started taking me to work with him around that time. I was probably 8. And he, Ryan, you know, I met him then and he was just a kid, like maybe 14, but he was riding bulls at that time, and he was going to Dos Amigos, in fact, and getting on in the novice and open bull riding. And actually, that was the first time my dad ever took me to Dos Amigos. I was 8 years old to go watch Ryan ride one day, because he gave me and my older brother a Nintendo set. And so while my dad was building fence at his house, and he gave us his Nintendo set. And at that point in time, I don't think he played guitar or anything like that. I mean, he was just a young kid. And for him being nice to us, you know, my dad took us to go watch him ride, and felt like we thought that'd be real cool, you know, and we did. I still vividly remember him getting on. He got on a black muley that hopped out there and turned back, jerked him down, helicoptered him around, and he hung up for a good long time.
He didn't talk about that one.
No. And then the next time I vividly remember seeing him was a ways after that. He moved away from Odessa, and I think moved to Stephenville and all over. Yeah. He went and lived with Mac Altizer, and became pretty wild, I think. And then the next time I seen him was at the Hawaiian Luau summertime bull riding they do there at Dos Amigos, and I think Thomas Taylor was putting it on. It had 10,000 added, and Ryan was still riding, like right at the end of his career, and he was probably early 20s. And I remember him sitting back in the old beat up metal chair, and he had a cigarette hanging out and 2 front teeth missing on a necklace that he was wearing, that he had just some Brennel had knocked out, you know, a couple nights before at some rodeo, you know. And oh man, we had a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other, JB Mooney style.
Yeah. We'll have to get Bingham and Bonner back on together and just sit and hit record.
Yeah. Well, Bonner, you went out, and music is a big part of your career too. We can get into that a little bit as well. Sure. But you went and recorded some stuff at Bingham's place, right? And you're kind of doing some music stuff, or was that?
Yeah, man, I owe a lot of like my knowledge about how to structure a song and like write songs. You know, I'd been trying since I was about 12 years old. My older brother plays Brody, and he's really talented too. I would say he was way more natural at it than me. And but he taught me a lot, and then I learned a lot of different things from friends growing up. And then I broke my neck and stopped riding bulls, ended up going out to California for the whole dance show thing, and he knew I was out there. We reconnected, and he started having me come over and hang out, and I'd kind of play him a few of the little songs I could remember from writing, you know.
Yeah.
And he helped me. He really liked one of them, and he helped me take it and really break it down and start tracking and showing me how to track songs and write songs, and you know, just the basics really. And I really appreciate him for that, man. I'll always remember that. And yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, such a good guy. So
he's always been kind of like a big brother.
Fucking A, man. Back. So you kind of touched on it there, breaking neck, going to California, but let's go back before that. So grew up watching your dad. You went into the CBR game first before you went to the PBR, correct?
Yeah. So when I was 18, I started and got my PBR permit and pro rodeo stuff, and CBR. I bought all of it, you know, and I just kind of played around in all of it a little bit. And because I was college rodeoing too, I went to college at Odessa. And in fact, that's where I started meeting all my favorite Canadians.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just, I mean, that's where Chad Bestplug comes into the scene. Mm-hmm. You know, Ty Elliott, Tanner Gerlitz. God, I mean, I could name so many dudes, or really a lot of fucking cool motherfuckers. I just thought I really enjoyed those boards. They were my favorite dudes on the team. And I rodeoed for a couple 2.5 years. I went to Odessa College and Texas Tech for a little while, and CBRs were kind of a little easier for me to hit because there wasn't a lot of them. And I went to the first one. I think I won the first one I went to in Beaumont, one of Tough Steel's. And from then on, I just kind of had the invite, to go to those things. And I went and had a lot of fun, won a lot of money. And once I turned 20, I think I tore my bicep off the bone, and I set out for about a year. And that was right after I won the CBR deal. And I was going to a bunch of PBRs at that time and really was winning a lot. I think I was real close to making tour, but that was when there was only a Copenhagen Challenger Tour.
Yeah,
and
those days.
Yeah, and they had maybe started the Discovery Tour and the Enterprise.
The Enterprise Tour, and then I think the third tier back then, wasn't it the Humps and Horns Tour? They had called it.
You're right. Yeah, the little 5,000 out of
Yeah, that's right.
And I was going to all those hard at that time, and that's when Elliot Jacoby and Clayton Beachy had just made it on tour.
Not bad.
There was a lot of boys from Texas, Douglas. That's where we all started, really going hard to PBRs. Those boys had been going to pro rodeos and CBRs too. And it was a fun time to be going to them deals, but it was a lot harder to make tour than it is now. That's for sure. There was a lot of good bull riders.
Is Batesy still kicking? What's he doing now?
Hey man, I don't know. I don't want to say. I have no idea, but
I don't want to say. We'll just leave it at that. I cannot incriminate myself or him.
No, I'm not gonna go there.
Oh man, yeah, that was a wildcat. Holy shit, that whole crew was. But I remember when you got on tour, you were with us. We were on a snowboarding trip, me and you and Best Plug.
That's right.
Jared Craig, Ted Stoven, and you got the call, and we had to get you to the border or some fucking thing, right?
Yeah, I remember I had the party pony. I had the van with me.
Oh yeah,
the full size white conversion van. I had this Dodge, like 2012 full size conversion van, all leather interior, and we were stacked deep in that thing. It was me, Marcus Mariluch, Jared Craig.
Yeah,
I think Dakota Beck might have rode across the border with us too, and we were smoking some of the strongest dank you could ever imagine from Spokane, Washington. We literally were blazing across the border. I don't know how they found the entrance that we went in, but like literally they did not check shit. They just let us roll straight.
Well, that's because you're going into BC. They don't care over there.
Yeah.
Oh man!
If you were trying to get into Alberta, Saskatchewan, they might have turned you around with the smell of the vehicle. You never know.
But it was so smoked out because we had like a full bag before from Spokane to the border, and we were like, shit, we don't want to try to smuggle this across the border and not make the bull riding, so we're just gonna roll four or five blunts and just smoke all of them before we get there. And I remember Marcus had never smoked very, very much or done anything, and Jared Craig wasn't a big smoker either. But we had everybody so blazed out in that
hot box. That's probably why you thought that weed was legal. I remember we went to Posabon's house. Posabon was in Texas. He was on tour at that time, and we stayed the night at their place, and you just pulled out your bag of weed and put it on the table and started rolling a joint. And I remember Leanne Posabon's like, oh my God. Mother's like, what, isn't this legal here? Isn't this shit legal here?
It's always been better than pain pills, baby. That's it.
That's good. So anyways, yeah, so you get on tour. What year was that?
That was like 2011, 2012, somewhere right there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You and me, we went to, so yeah, we were going to those Challenger events up there, like what was it, Edgerton or something?
Edmonton, and then
Edmonton.
and then we were going to Abbotsford. It was those cup events.
Abbotsford.
Yeah, and there was
it was cold as fuck at Abbotsford. I remember the little indoor barn arena.
Yep.
Was that kind of the one?
Yep.
But I remember I rode Ty's bull in the first round. I got on Ty's little black and white paint. Remember?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Is this Chilliwack? Is this Chilliwack?
Yeah,
maybe Chilliwack or Abbotsford. Yeah, probably Chilliwack. Yeah.
And that little bastard bucked, but I made the short round on him, and I got on some Brental that just really whirled it up, and I won a little bit there, and I got him at a couple places, and that it set me in there as an alternate for Kansas City, and we literally started on one side going up Vancouver side to Abbotsford or wherever, and then over to Edmonton, and then remember we went to Niagara Falls and hung out. And
I was gone by that time. I've never been to Niagara Falls yet. I was out of the vehicle. Probably.
Well, we went snowboarding with you and Chad, right?
Oh yeah, and Ted Stoven. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had to drive back down through Buffalo, New York, on down to Kansas for my first or second, I guess alternate position that I had gotten, and that it just started rolling from there a little bit.
Fucking A. So then you're on tour from then on, make the World Finals a few times. 2015 was probably your biggest year, correct? Your highest finish?
That was 2015 was really the only year I ever made the finals. I was on tour years before that, but want to say 2014 or 13, I had elbow surgery.
Okay.
And I set out, and that's when I went and did the longest ride stuff, which is what I came back from doing. And that was towards the end of the year. I think I went in September to that filming or whatever that year in 2014 and got on Rango. Got on Rango twice within my first 5 bulls back off elbow surgery, like a real smart human being, and wow, dude, that was when he was literally, I think, number 3 bull in the world or something at that time.
Was unreal. Yeah. How many times did you get on him? Twice you got on him?
Yeah, twice. Once at 8 something in the morning, and then the second time at midnight on set.
Yeah, because you were Scott Eastwood's.
Not your normal competition hours.
Yeah. Because you were Scott Eastwood's stunt double for that movie, correct? For those that don't know.
That's right. Yeah, they had me, Bran Atwood, Marcus Mariluch, and a kid named Sam, who was the stunt guy, the stunt director's nephew. A really good hand. He was really good. He kind of a longer, lankier dude, but he rode really good.
Oh yeah, he actually got on some bulls as well.
Oh
yeah, Sam rode. I want to say he was one of the main stunt guys for Scott as well.
Oh, cool. Okay,
but I'm the one that got on Rango for the final scene.
Yeah, you're the one.
Yeah, that I might have had to hit the button on if I really rode him or not, but they gave me the bonus for doing it, so I was stoked.
Oh, that's good. So in 2015, you have the biggest finals. You ended up probably the highest you had. Grew on into 2016, fucking killing it. One of the best bull riders in the world. Tragedy strikes. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, man. So I was coming off of the best year I'd ever had on tour, and had really finally teed in on my equipment, after all the injuries I'd been through, figured out what was working for me and what wasn't. And I'd switched to a Brazilian bull rope and started really learning how to pull that damn thing down and tie it off, and how much rosin to keep on it. And man, I owe a lot of that to Ty and Krusty Bob here for showing me the ropes and helping me out on tour. You guys kind of started doing it, and I was like, yeah, it's helping them. I'll damn sure try it. And so it did. And I finally got my confidence back, and, riding walk off at the finals really was like, that was a real peak in my career. I mean, I remember being real intimidated of that bull, just seeing him just freaking manhandle everybody that year.
Fuck yeah, especially right-handers. No right-hand. I think you might be the only right-hander that stayed on him. That thing was fucking.
And because he was that, usually right there to the left. And I was real nervous about it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was crawling down on him, and he's got a back as wide as my fucking steering wheel here. And but I had Adriano Moraes on the back of my chute, and he wasn't gonna let me puss out, and not be a fucking pussy. And I really
no pun intended.
I had to fucking bow up and give her hell, and thankfully it worked out, man. He honestly felt so much fucking better than he looked several times I had seen him. And I think he had a pretty good trip for me to ride him, but he messed up and went into my hand.
Took him down. Hell yeah. Yeah. He rode Percolator, had a really good finish, top 5.
Yeah.
The finals.
Yeah. Yep. And I had
60,000. Nice payday.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a good time. I remember going to the buckle ceremony. Here's a pretty wild story. I had my girlfriend there at the World Finals with me. Remember her?
Yeah.
And so the Indian girl I was dating, Alexis.
Yeah.
And we were walking through the casino after the buckle ceremony, and I was pretty hyped up after that and tuned up. I had a few beers, and I had my buddy Chad with me too, and he was drunker than hell. And we're all three going back to the hotel, and we're walking through the MGM on the bottom floor, and some guy was walking behind us, and he was, kind of a creepy, like, pedophile stalker looking kind of dude, and he was walking right behind us, and I looked back, and I'm amped. I just rode fucking walk off, and we're walking, and we're by the slot machines just as you come through the main lobby, and this dude's, I told him, what are you looking at? And he pointed and he said, her ass. And I remember no sooner than he could get it out of his mouth, boy, I fucking hit him so hard. And he lifted him off the ground, and he slid about 10 to 5 feet out there, and in between some slot machines, just out cold. And I remember just looking around, and my buddy Chad was right there, and they were just like, we probably ought to get out of here so you don't get in trouble. And we did. Walking. We left. We just kept walking. Yeah. No security caught up with us, thankfully.
And then, so 2016, you kind of kept your momentum rolling from the finals. Chicago hits, you break your neck.
Yep. And I, that day, that weekend, I had like a feeling I was going to do, like, something big was going to happen that weekend, and I was so teed in on what I was doing and focused. I knew, like, coming into 2016, I had what it took and needed to, like, really challenge a world title race and be the number one guy at the end of the year, I felt like. And I was believing in it, believing in myself. And man, I mean, the first 2 rounds couldn't have gone any better. I had 2 good bulls. Both went into my hand. I think I won second the first night, and Douglas won the first round. And drew a bull the next day, Cowboy Up, that I'd been wanting to get on for a long time. In fact, I think I'd seen you. Had you gotten on him before?
No, I hadn't been on him, but he was around. Yeah, he was awesome. A lot of guys didn't really get along with him the way you did. Like, you styled him out, but yeah, he wasn't the easiest one.
Man, he really left there hard, but he'd just really blow and kind of whirl and come around. And I knew we would match up good. And anyways, it felt great. I remember it feeling like move for move what it felt like, and leaving the chute with him that day. I remember I was just so in sync. I can't remember ever feeling more in time with a bull or any ride in my life feeling better. And I was just kind of so glued to him. By the time the whistle blew, I was wanting to look out to the outside, I remember, and I went to kind of pull my tail, or maybe was losing my wrap a little bit already, and it came out before I wanted it to. I don't know what it was, but I ended up coming up really, really high instead of outward, and he just flipped me upside down, and it was super unexpected. And I just remember kind of being suspended, thinking, oh shit, and trying to get extended and rotated, and before I knew it, the ground came. And like every year they always have that white sand in the Chicago arena, and it was like, I think honestly so random and such a miracle though at the same time, because if that would have been hard dirt, or even if I'd have had a helmet on, I think it would have that much more of a blunt impact could have really dissevered my nervous system and my all my shit. But it ended up crushing and breaking my spine straight through my C2, and crushed one whole side of it, and like tore some tendons. And I remember, when I hit the ground, just like I heard the crunch inside my body. It was like someone stomping a beer can. Fuck. And it didn't knock me out. I was totally conscious. I was the first rider to go that day. And I remember, just laying there on the arena floor. I watched his feet come as he's, tried to come over the top of me. I could see out from under the brim of my hat that he was out there in front of me, about to run over me. And I knew I had just broken my neck. I knew, like, I didn't understand what was happening, because I could feel my neck from here and feel the sharp burning, swelling. And it was just crazy. Like, I mean, it lit me up when I hit the ground, but I was totally conscious, and I knew what was happening. And all of a sudden I just start feeling this flooded, fluttery feeling, and seeing colors and shit. And, the bull ran straight over the top of me. I just literally, like when they say you come to a near-death experience, your life flashes before your eyes. Like, I really believe that my life did flash before my eyes. I remember seeing like all these moments of my life, like in a heartbeat. And then thinking, like, at the end of it, came to this like calm feeling, and like I'm meant to hang on. I'm meant to hold on. Like, and I remember internally thinking and praying to myself, like, God, if I'm not meant to leave here, please, like, help me fight right now, and I literally knew I was dying. And they put me on the stretcher and rolled me over, and thank God for the people that handled me, like those paramedics. They were really, really amazing at what they did, apparently. And I mean, kept me steady. All the bone fragments and shit in my neck that I had broken, they said it was just insane. Like, it just a miracle that none of that sliced a nerve, and that my nerves were still intact, because it was literally like someone had decapitated me. My whole spine was broke, and some of it in fragments. And that's what made it so serious. You know what I mean? And, and the ligaments being torn too. And I guess my body went in full shock, and that's why I couldn't feel anything below my neck. It hadn't paralyzed me, but I guess it did, to some extent, for about
the shock did.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't feel anything below my neck for the rest of that day. It took me until I like got to the hospital. I don't know how long I'd been there, but I remember at some point feeling like this crazy turn in my stomach, like water turn. And I remember I had just been focusing, thinking like I need to move my hands. My hands were just like cramped, and super stiff, like someone who's paralyzed looks. And I just kept thinking, man, I just need to fucking move my fingers, like. And I felt this wave turn in my stomach, and literally started getting motion in my fingers, realized that I could feel again, and started wiggling my toes, and like eventually could feel my ass, and just remember trying to be so still and careful, because they had explained to me what had happened. I knew. And yeah, the first one, I guess, that I knew would have been the guy who rode with me to the hospital, Todd Pierce, who's like the chaplain for PBR, and he normally doesn't leave an event when a guy gets hurt, to stay there for whatever else. But he I guess knew and intuitively that it was pretty bad, and rode
we all
with me.
knew, right? We all kind of knew that it wasn't the way everybody, when somebody gets hurt and then Tandy's kind of mulling around, but this one, us being on the back of the chutes, it was like, this ain't fucking good. Something's wrong.
Yeah,
here.
I remember too, we got word back in Canada by text, and I don't know if it would have been Tanner or I can't remember who it would have been, but it was, before that would have been an afternoon perf in Chicago, probably by supper time. Everybody up here knew, this is pretty bad and pretty serious. Obviously you had to tell this story a few times, Bonner. It's got to be extremely emotional.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. But what's cool is I like immediately. I'll go back to a little more detail of the story here in a minute. But what's cool about what you're saying is, ever since my wreck, like I knew there was a good chance I might not ever ride again. I knew there was definitely that chance, but I never wanted to accept it in my mind for the longest time. Yeah. Right. And so that's what kept me driven to like walk again, talk again, think again, feel again, be able to do shit, exercise, get back to my feet. And the one thing I want to say about the doctors that did my surgery, and I don't know, maybe they really did think I would ride again, but maybe they knew the reality. I'm sure they did, probably. And they weren't rodeo doctors either. Of course, they're just neurosurgeons and spine specialists, right? And thankfully, that's another thing. Like in Chicago, that hospital I went to was like literally, come to find out, one of the most high, like one of the best places for neurosurgery and spine injuries, right? Tanner,
so if that happens,
fuck yeah, it was good.
If that happens in Oklahoma City or Reno or whoever, you just don't know what the outcome.
Like everything happens for a reason, good or bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was just crazy how many little things like that, when you go back and look at the details, sort of lined up so, and it's like, over time I've really learned that it was meant to happen, what happened to me, and I always thought my purpose was to be like, world champion, because I loved riding bulls so much, and I wanted to be the best, and believed I could do it, and I thought that was really like my goal in life. But it was, come to find out, it really wasn't. And there's so much more to life than riding bulls, really. And the sport of rodeo and all of that. And like when that injury happened to me, I knew from that day forward I needed to start facing the potential aspect of never doing it again.
Yep.
And to do that, I would need to talk about it. I would need to like face it head on, right? And some of that has been very traumatic for me. Some of it's been real healing for me. Like I think going to some of the PBR events as soon as I did right after my wreck and like doing PR was probably not good for me. And it really made me want to dive into some dark places and like fucking suck to sit there and watch and see my friends doing what I loved and was doing just fine with them like not too long ago, you know, and realize like, you know, after working 19 years of your life at something and pouring your whole heart into something and that's not there anymore, it's a real, you know, deep dive of depressing feelings and just confusion over like what your life's about, like
why me,
well, not necessarily why me, but like what the fuck am I supposed to do now,
right?
Yeah,
like
now,
you know, like
yeah.
what is my purpose? I thought I knew it, but you know, and it wasn't necessarily that I placed like all my identity in being a bull rider or anything. It was just that I never in my life would have thought I would break my neck and, you know, be paralyzed or have to stop because the potential aspect of tying my hand on again could literally kill me. And I don't know, it was a really hard thing for me to swallow for a long time. But then, you know, but going through it and facing those dark times and whatever, you know, maybe it just, if I hadn't done that, maybe it would have prolonged something I would have, you know, had to face later and just festered inside, you know. But I'm glad I did it, whatever the case. And I've been able to face my demons and like work through it. And I've, you know, seen some other friends take deep dives, you know, and Tanner has too. And we've seen a lot of what, you know, what the downside of losing your career looks like. And it's a really tough thing to face. And whether you're a football player or just anyone who's had a dedicated passion and love for what they do for so long, and then you all of a sudden have to switch gears.
Yeah, fucking
Bonner, what would you think when you look back at it? Would you say was most important in your healing process? Now, I'm not meaning just come back from a broken neck, but like, you know, to get over the demons. Like we've all, you know, we can talk about friendships we've had, and we could all tell a story about somebody that has, you know, come back.
That's a very important question. Yeah,
so
that's
what was that for you?
Man, it was a lot of just, you know, letting it out, you know, feeling the grief, feeling the depression. And at first I didn't know it was okay to feel that stuff, you know, and I tried to hide it. I tried to bury it. But like it made it worse when I did feel it. And I would really, you know, it started with partying and getting into some drugs and alcohol and really abusing both of those things for a pretty good while. And I was taking it over the limit, you know, and I felt like life had stolen the eye of the tiger, but I didn't want to believe it, you know. And so I was always trying to push it to the limit anyways, in any way I could, whether it was partying or, you know, if they weren't going to let me back on bulls in the PBR arena, you know, I didn't see the point in riding bulls at all if that was the case, you know. And whenever they released me and I found that out like 3 to 4 months into my healing process after watching the ceiling fan go around and fucking around, you know, laying face up. I couldn't even wash myself. My girlfriend had to do that, you know, and couldn't hold a fork the right way for a long time even, you know. And there was some really confusing dark times in that first 3 months where I wasn't really sure I wanted to be around anymore. You know, I didn't know how much life would be worth it at that state, you know. And it was hard for me, and my girlfriend had to, you know, set me straight a few times in the apartment we lived in there. And, you know, that there was some crazy shit that went on that I won't really get all into, but, you know, that's one of the things that I always go back to between me and Ty Posabon. That year, later that year, after I had healed a lot more, I went to the World Finals and I came to watch you guys ride, if you remember, Tanner. And I went and stayed with Ty, and you know, we had a conversation about a lot of this stuff, which is the hardest thing in the world for me to like accept or look back on and think about. But we shared a lot of common, you know, I guess, inflictions or afflictions from the shit that had happened to us. And that was kind of the common ground we were able to talk about. And we both knew better, though, you know, we both knew that there was something beyond all that. And, you know, we shared it, and he sympathized with me, and he, you know, he gave me this watch out of his rider's gift bag or whatever from the finals that year. And I still have the watch. It's something that I'll never lose. And that's been with me ever since then. And I always think about that and the words that were exchanged between me and him. And even though I don't understand, you know, any of him and I had two very different injuries. You know, mine was more physical than psychological, you know, and I mean, it's hard to separate one from the other. And my injuries definitely had a lot of psychological effect on me, I feel like today still, but not the same as what it comes down to with a brain injury. Like, that's a totally different deal. And so, you know, that's where I just have to understand that I don't understand everything. And there's a lot of, you know, a lot that none of us will ever understand until we reach the other side ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
And I can only say that I feel like he is still surely sitting on my shoulders every day, saying smart ass shit. And, and one of the, I think he's on all of our shoulders as one of our angels that looks over us every day, you know. And I really believe, you know, his spirit is very well alive still in so many people. And I can only think about the amazing person he was. I don't see anything, you know, wrong with who he was and what it was. It's not meant for us to understand, and you don't need to, you know, and all you can do is accept it and see the beautiful impact his life has made on everybody and will continue to make. I have no doubt, you know. I think there's a movie in the future somewhere that should be made about his life. You know, I'm sure you guys have thought about it or talked about it, but that is someone who's had a great impact on me, you know, through that time. And that was one of the first real healing moments, I think, for me. And when him and I shared that moment and I was able to spend a couple days there at the finals, he fucking killed it the nights I was there. Like, I think that one night, the night he rode that big ass black uphorn bull and won the round, that was badass. But
I think that's the night he commented he felt like he could ride Godzilla. That was everywhere.
He was rock and rolling. That was good. That's good. That's a good way to put it, right? Though it's just, you don't know what life's gonna fucking put at you, and you don't know the people that are gonna come into your life and change things without them even knowing it. You know, the effect that they can have on you. So that's pretty amazing to hear, just through his story and him, how much it helped you. It's very well said.
It really is. And you know, I went up there with you guys to his service and everything, and that was one of the hardest things to ever see or go through and watch. But also, I think one of the most healing things for so many people there to just really understand, like, or at least try to scratch the surface of what, you know, the weight of what his life has meant. I mean, for such a no give a shit guy, like he made such a major impact on this planet, man. And it's going to keep going. I don't think it's going to stop, you know.
I agree with you.
Oh, fuck,
It's
for sure.
It's when you look back at things for all of us sitting here right now, the bottom line is everything happens for a reason, and that happened to make that happen, to make that happen. And at the
Yes,
time,
sir.
at the time it doesn't make sense, but you know, when you get to sit back and look at it, it does. And I'm a firm believer in that. Everything happens for a reason, good or bad.
Yep.
At the time.
And when he, you know, he was meant to leave when he did, no matter what. And we are here, and we still have work left to do here, you know, and that's what we've got to realize. And that work is, I think, truly working on ourselves every single day, and just like working on loving ourselves more, working on understanding that it is okay to feel things and go through hard times. But the most important thing is to share it. You know, that's the biggest lesson we can learn out of all this stuff, is sharing that more when you are going through the struggle, not, you know, not after it's too late or whatever. And people that love you being more aware of like what your real struggle is, you know, and even if it's uncomfortable or embarrassing, you know, just making sure people know like that, hey, I am this, and understanding that it's okay to be that. It's okay to be human. Nobody's perfect. We're all fucked up, you know. And we're all, like a good friend of mine told me one time, we're all just trying to make it home from the bar at night. You know, just help each other home, and that's really it, man. And I think, you know, Ty's life had so much purpose. Look at what we're talking about right now, and look at the effect of what.
Yeah, this isn't even scripted, you know. We want to talk to Bonner Bolton today, and we're talking about Ty Posabon for the podcast. And it's not scripted. That's you hit the nail on the head, Bonner. He
had a major impact on me, along with, you know, Tanner, I know as well, and our generation of guys that had the privilege to know him, you know. And I met him back when he went to school in Odessa. That was my first encounter with him and Randy Cortieri, those two little shits, you know. I was a little older than both of them, you know, so I was kind of a little out of their age range already, almost out of the school college rodeo phase, and starting to hit the road more. And but I really loved getting to know Ty there at Odessa, man. He's been the same since day one, and I can say that for a fact. He's never one. That's the most consistent guy I know, you know.
That legacy of Ty and what it's all brought about for me has allowed me to be able to say to Tanner or Jason or anybody without feeling embarrassed, hey man, you okay? You know, are you all right?
Yeah.
And I think that's huge for our industry, or for us as cowboys, to let our guard down enough to say, you all right? And Tanner's done it to me, Jason, you know. It's cool what came of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Honesty, and that's when you know someone's really cares, and I think that's the most powerful vibration and energy we can put out in the world, no matter what, is loving each other. And it's not a homo thing. It's not gay. It's not sissy to show someone compassion and sensitivity if you feel they need it, you know. And you might just save someone's life. You never know. I mean, just smiling at the lady at the gas station, you know, or whatever.
Well, as soon as we can take off these fucking masks, I'll be, you know, now up here in Canada, Bonner, we have to let everybody know we're smiling.
For now.
We have to tell them.
That's incredible, man. I think there's probably going to be a spell of this shit. I don't see it lasting for forever. I don't see how anyone could put up with it.
Yeah, we'll roll on. So Bonner, moving past that time of your life, you've obviously came through the other side now, and for, you know, everybody on looking of you doing this modeling stuff, you've been on Dancing with the Stars, you seem to have your shit together, and seems like as much as you thought life was over when your bull riding career was over, you've taken this to fucking 10 steps higher now, and doing well for yourself, and rolling further. Where are you kind of at with all that stuff right now?
Yeah, man. Well, thankfully, you know, after breaking my neck, there was an opportunity that came about with PBR that you know, I'll always appreciate PBR for, which was giving me the opportunity to meet the agency over there at IMG, which growing up, hell, if you asked me if I'd go model or if I ever thought I was going to be a model, that would have been the last thing on my plate of thing or list of things I wanted to do, I promise you. But I've always been artistic, you know, and I've always like loved art, you know, and as I've gotten older, loved the process of filming, and so all that stuff is appealing to me. But I knew, like, okay, if I go over there and I can make some money, you know, this is better. This is something, at least, than more than what I had at the time, which was not shit. and a broke neck, you know. So I said, yes, hell yes, let's do this. And I started going, and I started meeting a lot of people, and I had a lot of interviews, a lot of castings, all kinds of stuff. I went from New York to Paris and London, and the first trip they sent me to was Paris for the Victoria's Secret fashion show.
Oh, damn.
And I went and did all these interviews with you know, casting directors, photographers, and all these things, and magazine outlets and stuff. And they sent me on a train to London, and I went to London and went to the British Fashion Awards. And let me just tell you, London was a good time. It was a real good time. Yeah, so I ended up going over there, and I had a friend over there, a young lady that I had met prior in Texas, and she was from over there, and not too bad looking, if I must say. And she invited me to this party one night, and I was like, all right. And this was one night where I didn't have anything planned or scheduled, and so she took me out, and her and one of her other friends picked me up, and these girls were about the equivalent to like your high-end American Playboy Playmate status type girls, you know. And they took me to some magazine party over there, which is like the American equivalent to or the British equivalent to Playboy, you know. It's called 66 Mag or something. And so I went over there, and I am one of maybe like 20 guys in a room full of about 100 women that are all just like top 10 plus European Playmate model status, right? And we're partying, you know, and I've got on like a nice suit and jacket and my black hat, you know, and I'm cowboying around in this motherfucker. And I'm having a good time. And these ladies asked me, well, do you want to go in the back room? And there was a rapper filming a rap video in the back room, and you can go look this up. I'm not bullshitting. You'll see me if you watch the whole thing. But they're filming this rap video, and this guy who's like a British superstar rapper, his name is Giggs, Giggs. Mm-hmm. And he featured on Drake's album like right after that, the one with the guy in the tuxedo on the front.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like on 2 or 3 of Drake's songs right there. But like I was literally thrown into his rap video because these dudes loved my cowboy swag and my buckle and everything. And they're like, and they had me play like the drug lord in this video, and I like go put some money on the table or whatever. And it's wild. You'll have to check it out. It's a song called Wonder What, and it's a rapper named Suspect, and gigs, and it's British rap. But that's like my wildest story from going over there, and it was a good time. But since then, fast forward, I took a lot of the money I made over there and from the Dancing with the Stars stuff and everything, and all I know is that I didn't want to model for forever. That definitely was not my calling and my my forte, and I'm thankful for it. Hands down, I'm really grateful for those people that gave me those opportunities. And I've been fortunate enough to still get some model work. It's now more a little in line in the direction I like, which is a little more Western and stuff like that. I did a thing with Filson the other day and Boot Barn, which is cool to get back involved with them. But I took that money and decided I need to invest it into something that'll hopefully make money in the future. And if I can do that, what can I do that in the world of bull riding? Because that's really all I know, and kind of apply all my interests and skill sets to that. And then I ended up stumbling across some really great people in the technology realm who are all expert software development people. And I had a good brand builder, and they mentioned the idea of, fantasy sports. And I started learning about fantasy sports and the explosion of fantasy football and like how much money that was bringing in for all the American leagues and sports that allow that, and that have made those partnerships. And it's really accelerated the game, for those sports and the income for those players even. And so I realized, okay, well, PBR, we're not doing that over here. There's nothing like that. There's really not, this is a smaller market probably to some degree, but not really when you factor in all the countries, and there's so much opportunity for it. And this is something that the fans get something out of, but also the bull riders too, and there's a lot of opportunity to grow the market and the economy in our world through it. And so we put the pedal to the metal, started developing, putting blueprints down, testing things. We've been testing things for like the last 2 years pretty much. And I've been working on this deal with PBR for their marketing and partnership. We give them a partnership with us too. And right now the product's free, but we plan to monetize it in the future. And it's just now to the point where we're ready to say, okay, this is fully functional, fun, easy to play phase one, and let people test it out, learn how it works, and it's super easy. You sign up, it's totally free. You get 6 rider picks and 3 bull picks, right? And so an athlete total of 9 that's scoring for you all weekend. And it's all based off of the first round draw.
Yep.
And you just go in and look at the matchups. All of our profiles for the bulls and riders have analytics that are updated every day pretty much on like rider rankings and, buck off streak, ride streak, all that stuff's in there for your player analytics and bull analytics for riders and bulls. But then you go in, make your picks, submit your team, and we pay out after every 2 weeks, we pay out no longer than 2 weeks out of every competition. So if you land in the top, and you can opt in for text messages that show you like when the entries are open and like who won what for every weekend.
Fucking nice. And this is Rank Ride Fantasy, right? It's called Rank Ride Fantasy. Yep. You can find it in the App Store. You can follow you guys on Instagram, all over, right? Or how do we find
man.
it?
That's it, man. Just rankridefantasy.com. If you go to the store, that's rankridestore.com. It's all connected. We've got some sweet merch in there that we're working on, and right now we've really been putting our focus and effort into the game for the last year, but we're about to update the store and put some cool new merch in there. So be on the lookout for some sweet
Might
summer
have to.
gear.
Might have to have an NFP team, eh, boys?
Fucking right.
Absolutely, man. Heck yeah.
Fucking
Well,
right.
we need to get you plugged in to the website and have you guys, getting some marketing on there and cross promote
Yes,
each
but
other.
this is big for our sport. Other sports have this. They have a fantasy league, football, hockey. You can have your team. So this is a way for the fans to interact with it, as well as make some money by doing it, and it makes it so much more interesting. I know for myself, that's what would be cool.
Absolutely.
Getting involved as well. You have bow riders involved in it, so it's made by bow riders, for the fans, and you're giving money back to charities, Western Sports Foundation, stuff like that as well, right?
Absolutely. The reason that really, the biggest passion for me behind staying on top of this project and making it happen and really trying to make it something real and fun and successful is because Western Sports Foundation helped me out so much when I broke my neck. They literally paid for my entire medical bill, right? Or at that point, it was called Rider Relief Fund. That was the main charity for our sport, and that has now been converted into Western Sports Foundation, and they help all the injured riders on tour in special cases with fans and things like that. And it's something all the riders, all of us believe in. Obviously they've got special programs even for helping guys learn how to manage their finances, to even things like if you need some counseling or need, going through something in life, you need help, they provide programs for that now. And it's really amazing. I'm super happy to see where the sport's gotten to, because the insurance with PBR is not very good at all. And that's something that is kind of made up for by the charity that they do. And these guys take on the special cases and have a lot of special donors. And that's one thing we would like to see this, be a way for the fans to help give back and support to Western Sports Foundation, and do that through playing the game. And when we start to monetize it, that'll be something we can help with Western Sports Foundation.
Fucking right, brother. Cool. Well, we look forward to jumping on this app and getting to betting on shit and try to win some fucking money ourselves, man. It's a good way to stay involved.
Since we're not working up here.
Fucking right. Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, hey, if you pay attention and watch, who's doing good week to week on the Bulls and the Riders side, and really, understand the bottom. So you have 3 tiers when you're picking on our website, right? You got your top tier riders, your middle tier, and your lower tier. And the guys that are the lower tier, just kind of your newbies, the ones coming up, right? Or falling out, one or the other. And it's the same with the Bulls pretty much. You got a top tier, middle tier, and a lower tier. And those lower tier riders and bulls are the ones that make the most points for you. So if you really nail it on those and the middle ones, like you're pretty set.
Insider trading, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm so gonna kick your guys'
hey, this is something, Tanner, I really am stoked for talking about this, because we need to get an hour going, like, week to week, maybe on a fantasy.
Fucking right.
Yeah, fantasy
we talk
talk.
About in our intros, we always talk about that's all we talk about is the stats in the weekend before. So we should have a rank rag fantasy corner,
man.
Little gambling corner, who you're supposed to be betting on. Yeah, we'll talk about this after this is
Let's
done.
do it, man. I think it'd be fun. I'm actually in conversations with Cowboy Channel about doing some stuff too, and I think there's a full market waiting to explode with all this stuff, right?
Fucking right.
And it's all set up. All we got to do is just collaborate and make it happen, and grow it for the fans so they understand it and know how to play. And we're going to implement some newer games here soon, within the next year probably, that are going to be even more simple and just more fun and engaging, and provide new features to what we have now. Like we'll give everyone the option for private team or private leagues, basically, where you just play with your friends and you can win the money. We're given for like the big team pool. But then also in your private team, whoever wins out of you guys, y'all can kind of make inside bets amongst yourselves, right?
Oh, sick.
Where
fucking
y'all can put extra money up on top of what we're putting up for amongst yourselves. And we can't really provide that channel till we have our gambling license, but eventually that'll be one of the ways we're able to, we can take like a percentage of the pool and host that through the site where people don't have to worry about getting paid,
Love it.
Everyone's got to pay their entry fee.
Get fucking ante up.
Ante up. Throw it down.
Guy Bonner, man, we appreciate you hugely coming on here and chatting about this, going deep, and fuck. I know we didn't even get in. We'll have to have you back. So we didn't get into the Dancing with the Stars, and I know there's some fucking salty Hollywood stories, some deeper shit we can get into at some point. But we'll do it again, and maybe we'll work out here some sort of rank ride corner here on the NFP podcast, where we can keep promoting it and give our insider picks and shit like that. But
hell yeah, it'd be fun, man.
Fuck yeah, we'll do it. Scott has our infamous question for you here.
Oh, Bonner, man. Shit, that was so good today. I enjoyed listening to every word you said. I love your story. I love your outlook on life. I love what's coming in front of you. And this is the NFP podcast. My question to you is, what does NFP mean to you?
NFP, no fucking pussies. And, I guess my motto behind that, or what that means to me, would mean, don't be a quitter in life. Wake up every day and know that it's a fresh start. And, if the sun's shining and you got light air in your eyes and air in your lungs, you're winning. You're on the upside of life, and the glass is half full, and to keep fighting the good fight and being the best you can every single day. Don't be a fucking pussy.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's good.
Deadly.
All right, Bonner, man. We appreciate you coming on the NFP podcast presented by 3D Entertainment, and we'll be following along with Rank Ride Fantasy, and love what you're doing and love what you've been doing with the sport, man. Keep it going.
Awesome. Love you guys, man. Thank you so much. It's
See you, Bonner.
awesome to talk to y'all. Later.